Tweaks dækning af CES 2019 er blevet mulig med støtte fra Plantronics. Plantronics har mere end 50 års erfaring med at producere headsets og var blandt andet med til at sikre kommunikationen på NASA's månemissioner. Bliv en del af historien og se meget mere om deres brede udvalg af kvalitetsprodukter til både gaming og professionelt brug ved at følge linket i beskrivelsen under videoen. Vi hoppede videre i programmet og landet hos Gigabyte og Aorus. Aorus er selvfølgelig deres high-end gaming-mærke. Og jeg står her med Andrew fra Gigabyte Aorus og tænker, at vi lige får en lille gennemgang af de nye produkter. Der er lidt nyt for Gigabyte og i det hele taget en lidt ny tilgang til, hvordan de opbygger deres produktstak. Og man kan faktisk nu få et komplet system med komponenter fra dem med en lille krølle til sidst. Der har manglet et brik i det puslespil indtil videre, og det har de med nu, og det kigger vi på til sidst herinde. Andrew, if you could take us through your new product stack and maybe tell us a little about the thoughts about the products. I know you have a new naming scheme for some of the products.
Well, that's correct. So people that might be familiar with Gigabyte for some time, we've always focused on motherboards, graphics cards, and we started introducing a few peripherals and other products into it. What we really wanted to do, especially with our Aorus brand, which is our top-end gaming brand, is make sure there was continuity between all the products that we were producing. So with that in mind, what we've done is the top-end Aorus brand, we have our Waterforce and our Extreme products, which are the boards over here behind us. Underneath those then would be the Master, the Pro, the Elite, all of those are in that Aorus gaming brand. So depending on what features you want on your boards, it's all available. So if you still want a gaming board but you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on it, then we've got products that are available to do that. Obviously what we do is we change the feature set. Something that's really important for us though has always been the hardware and the engineering behind the boards. So for example, this board here, it's using the new 9900K CPU from Intel, and what we're doing is making sure that it's working at 5 GHz all cores, and the way that we've done that is we've made sure that the PWMs and the whole design for the engine that powers the actual CPU itself, we've put an awful lot of effort into it, and that's something we deliver through our entire Aorus range to make sure that you're getting the maximum performance. What we then do is obviously change the features that are on those products. So with that in mind, we've also taken a very similar approach with the new graphics cards. There's obviously the RTX range now from NVIDIA. So with that in mind, we have our Waterforce RTX card, so that sits at the very top of the stack. We've then also got our Extreme card available, which is in some of the systems that I'll show you in a little while. And we've made sure that that carries on, and that we do that throughout the entire range so everybody understands exactly what we're delivering. Where I've obviously talked about motherboards and graphics cards, the other things that we've delivered now has been memory. So we've got 3200 and 3600 megahertz memory. All of it's available with RGB if you want it, or of course you can just turn it off if you want. And we've made sure that all of that works together perfectly. So the graphics cards, the memory. We've also now introduced Aorus SSD as well. So that's available in a PCI Express format or an M.2 format. And that's using Toshiba 3D NAND. So it's very, very high-end performance to be able to deliver a really top-end PC if that's what you want to do.
So in regards to the power management, do I understand you right? It's the same high quality power management through the whole stack of products. So if you buy
from the Aorus range, so with it, basically the whole way that it works is very similar. Some of it will change slightly, but it's all able to deliver exactly the same performance all the way through. What we wanted to do is make sure that from a performance point of view, you're getting exactly the same performance. Obviously, from an overclocking point of view, the higher end products would have a slightly bigger heatsink, which means that you might be able to push it slightly further and get better performance. But what we're going to guarantee is that you can get 5 GHz on all cores from the Intel CPUs.
Hvis I har fulgt vores dækning heroverfra, så ved I selvfølgelig også, at Nvidia netop har lanceret deres RTX 2060-kort. Og vi står her med udgaverne fra Gigabyte. Andrew, if you could tell us a little bit about your 2060 cards?
Yeah, of course. So obviously I was talking about the product stack and the way that Aorus sits at the top. It's a very high-end gaming brand. Obviously, NVIDIA have now introduced the 2060 chipset into their RTX range. So we have a 2060 offering. Because the 2060 is obviously slightly lower down in the stack from a performance point of view, we've made sure that it goes into our Gigabyte range. So we have Aorus at the top and then it goes down into Gigabyte. So we still want to be able to deliver maximum amount of performance that you can get from the 2060. So with that in mind, we've got a few flavors that are available. So we have the top end of the 2060, which is the gaming OC range, 6 GB. That then goes down into WindForce, overclocked edition, and should you wish to have a very small form factor build, we've also got our ITX range as well.
So a pretty nice stack for the maybe more budget-oriented gamer.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the 2080s obviously are quite an expensive item, and so, but yeah, the 2060s obviously bring very similar performance at a really decent price point.
Great. And then you have an almost complete ecosystem now with all components and peripherals. If we can take a look, you have a system over here.
Sure. Okay, so what's been really important to us is make sure that, like we keep talking about, a PC ecosystem has everything from inside to outside the PCs. So we've got mouse mats, the Aorus mice, mechanical keyboards, our H5 headset. We've also got the monitor, which I'm assuming will be on a separate video that you guys are going to be showing.
I think we'll make a small jump in a minute and then take a look at your monitor, because that's the big news for this year, right?
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, back to the system that we were talking about then. So we actually have a CPU cooler. All of this is controlled by our new RGB Fusion 2.0 software. I'll demo that in a second. But you can actually control the RGB for the fans, the actual case itself. There's the PCIe SSD that I was talking about earlier, the graphics card, and obviously our memory. What we can do is in real time, using the actual RGB Fusion software, when you actually plug in the device, a little icon will appear just saying which device it is, and then you can just change the colors and the cycles and how it works. It takes a few seconds for it to actually load through, and then literally you can just click on the item, change the effects that you wish or the color, and you can do all that in real time.
Yeah, and before it was a bit more fragmented depending on which components you were using.
So with slightly older products, we had what we called our Aorus engine. Also for the RGB software, the RGB Fusion that we've been pushing for some time, that you needed to install the Gigabyte App Center. With RGB Fusion 2.0, it's a completely different piece of software, which means that you can just easily install it. So should you just pick up our mouse and you don't have any other Gigabyte or Aorus products, then you can just literally install that software and you can control the RGB on it. The more Gigabyte and Aorus products that you put into it, obviously the more that then would be picked up on there. And the best thing for us is obviously because it's all made by us, it's guaranteed to work together, and that you can really make some pretty beautiful systems. Or of course you can just turn it off if that's not your thing.
Så vi har været ind i det tilstøttende lokale og kigger på skærme. Det er tilsyneladende kodeordet for CES i år. Razer har hoppet ind på skærmmarkedet, men det er Gigabyte Aorus tilsyneladende også. Andrew, monitors, you're doing monitors now.
We are.
It's the complete ecosystem now.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly. So it's really important for us to basically deliver as much as we can to all of our customers and diversify. Obviously, like I was talking about, motherboards, graphics cards, that's always been very important to us. Now we've got keyboards, mice, headsets, and the newest addition is our brand new monitor. So the monitor name is the AD27QD. It's a 1440p resolution monitor. Okay, that's a 1 millisecond response time. It's a ISP panel with 10-bit, which enables to do DCI P3 color palettes as well. So if you wanted to be able to do some production stuff, say for example you take photos and you put that photo onto your laptop, onto your system, and you want to display it on the monitor, it'll literally be like for like pretty much. But obviously being a gaming monitor, we've made sure it's got FreeSync as well and the 144 megahertz refresh rate I was talking about.
And you talked about maybe you had plans for more models down the line?
Yes, so there will be more models down the line. I believe there's going to be about 6 models in total. We'll start to introduce them as the year goes on. So there will be a G-Sync version and different size versions and other things that we'll be delivering to the market.
Okay. And maybe even my personal favorite, ultra-wide at some point?
Yes,
maybe.
There is a plan for an ultra-wide one at the moment, but they haven't been announced, so I'm just waiting to get the information myself.
Okay. We got something to look forward there. And there's some special features built in, if we can take a look at the back.
Yeah, sure. So on this monitor over here, as you can see, it's got RGB, and I'll be honest with you, the RGB is probably the least exciting feature on this monitor. But what we've done is as you can see, it's got the standard very thin bezel, okay? The monitor can be tilted quite easily and adjusted up and down. But what we've also done is monitors normally obviously come with a power brick. You have to plug the cable into the power brick. What we've done is made a pass-through. So you just have a normal power cable, kettle lead, like a normal standard PC or just a standard kettle lead. You plug that directly into the back of the monitor and the brick is actually built into the stand.
There's also some other features on the software side?
Correct. So it's not software. Actually, what we've done is we've inbuilt firmware into the monitor. So you can actually do an on-screen overlay. So say, for example, you're playing various games. What you like to do is you want to be able to keep an eye on the frames per second that you're doing, but also see what's happening with the temperatures for your GPU, your graphics, how much memory is being used. You can use software to obviously do that, but some games actually see it as possibly cheating or don't like it, so it will actually block that software from being shown. Because we're doing an on-screen display, it means that it's painting it over the top. It's actually the monitor that's making the image. So that's a fairly unique thing to us. It also means that you can do it via a hotkey as well, so you can literally just tab it if you wish to get rid of it. Hotkeys are also a really big function for these monitors. The monitor does have a joystick on the bottom of it to enable you to navigate through various menus. However, the way that we've done it with the hotkeys, it means you can bring us various functions. So it enables you to draw a crosshair on the actual image itself. So if you're doing a no-scope on CSGO, for example, you can literally press one of the keys, and the crosshair will appear or disappear. You can draw the crosshair and be like you want it to be. And yeah, that's some of the features. We've also actually got active noise cancellation built into the monitor as well. So the way that works is pretty much there's a microphone built into the monitor. It recognises your voice. It will recognise background noise. So if you're, I don't know, in a student dorm as an example, and your housemate likes to listen to heavy metal extremely loud, what it can do is it can actually tune all of that out, and that's a proprietary thing to us, and it's actually built into the monitor as well.
Okay. And availability, when can we expect to see the monitors?
Okay, so you can expect to start seeing reviews for the monitors as of the 16th of January. Stock should start to appear, I'm guessing it'll probably around about the end of January by the time you see it in various different countries. And the price point for it is $599.
Det var et lille kig på alt det nye fra Gigabyte her. Det er lidt sjovt, at de nu har et komplet økosystem, så hvis du kan lide Aorus-stilen, så kan du nu få det komplette system. Der er kabinetter, skærme, tastaturer. Stort set det eneste, der ikke bliver lavet, det er selvfølgelig grafikkortchipsene og CPU'erne. Dem bliver vi nødt til at købe udefra. Det var det fra den her gang fra Aorus Gigabyte. Husk at følge med for meget med CES-dækning lige her på kanalen eller på Tweak.dk. Vi ses i det næste.